I was stabbed right there, so it was hard keeping a bandage on.
Yeah.
So I was just like, ugh. So I had to like wrap up my hand. You couldn't
Did you
see
go?
it because I was wearing gloves as Laguna, but I still have the scar actually on my hand.
Oh god.
But I think that was like my
Building?
worst one.
Oh gosh. You don't go near knives, please. We will
Well,
take you.
I have no problem with knives. It was just that it got stuck. It got stuck, and I didn't have any.
Exacto knives are dangerous for you.
Well, they are, but the whole thing was it got stuck, and when it pushed through, it like how much force goes into it because it gets
Yeah.
stuck and you're pushing it, and all of a sudden, I was like, oh shit, I
This
shouldn't
is
have
why
done
you
that.
don't push.
Well, I was being really impatient and I was getting frustrated, so that doesn't really do well.
That's not the kind of way you want to work with cosplay.
Yeah,
I said power tools.
power tools is no
That's
problem.
A knife isn't a power tool, it's a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like chainsaw.
What the? I wouldn't even have a hand.
I like chainsaw.
I wouldn't even have a hand if I was doing that. I wouldn't even be touching a chainsaw. Why would I have a chainsaw?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, we have a chainsaw, but I don't use it.
You
Why
should.
wouldn't you?
Why would I use a chainsaw? There's no point. I just need a jigsaw. Jigsaw is enough.
No, chainsaw's better.
So much more fun.
Chainsaws are friggin' loud.
You just run around carrying a chainsaw. Look at me, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, and get arrested.
Okay, now I don't know if I'm safe now when I finish my REM costume. I don't know if I'm safe around you.
Very dangerous.
Anyway, going back to cosplaying or prop making or injuries,
yeah.
technically was what we were talking about.
I know a good injury. Not well, apart from one of my own. My friend and I, we build props together, right? And we were working on one of the first versions of my pauldron. We eventually scrapped the idea because of what happened. And he was working with a soldering iron and completely burned one of his hands with it because it broke.
Ooh.
Oh no!
And it burned his hand, and some of the metal got on his finger, and a bit of the liquid metal got on me too. So we scrapped that idea completely.
I can see why.
And then, for some odd reason, his parents still let us near all the other power tools. And so we found out I can't use certain power tools because my hands will swell. So there are certain things he has to do that I'm not allowed to do.
Mm.
And then when we were making our first version of the fusion sword, we were using a resin that has a rather nasty odor and to it and such. And we were wearing masks, but it got so strong to the point where he and I almost passed out. Because we're smart teenagers.
Wait,
I
did you
think
guys
we were-
do this indoor?
We were outside.
Why would you do it indoors?
That's
Some
stupid.
people would do it indoors.
Because they're idiots.
So?
The only indoors I ever do is if it's in the garage.
Yeah, this was outside.
I hear the I totally do that when I started working.
That's the only indoors I will ever do is in the garage, especially if it's raining or windy as hell.
Oh well, see, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
When you don't want it to get wet, of all things.
Yeah.
That would suck ass.
Because I know when it came to like painting or priming my katana, I did it in the garage because it was pretty windy, and so we didn't want any debris hitting hitting anything, so it wouldn't have like one random little lump or something. It's like, what the hell is this shit?
But that's why you just sand it down.
Sanding.
I don't want to sand it after I prime it.
You prime it, sand it, and prime it again, and then sand it, and then paint it, and then sand it, and then paint it again, and then put a lacquer on it, and sand it, and put another layer of lacquer.
Yeah,
Sounds
see,
like
I
that's
just
a little shirt.
I just shaped out the shape of the katana. I sanded that down, and then I primed it for an entire week, and then I let it sit, and then I painted it in layers. Like, what did I do? I put on I painted the black, and then I painted the blade, and then I painted the little thingy, and then that was it.
Wow, I can see why the weapons can be so heavy. All that stuff on it.
That wasn't really the reason why it
Yeah,
was so
Stuff that
heavy.
you don't do.
It was just heavy for me because since it was one entire piece, because the handle was even was what was part of the piece of wood, so it was all that weight versus this 1.5 foot handle.
Well, mine's heavy because there's 2 layers of plywood as the main that were sanded down to make the blade part, and then there's another layer in like a T shape on the center and on the bottom half, and then there's 2 blocks on either side. So at the thickest part, it's 4 things thick of plywood, and then it has a dowel for a handle that was put in after we used a metal dowel. We drilled the hole straight through it and put the dowel in, and then attached the wooden dowel to the metal dowel, and that's how they were connected.
Yeah.
That's why it's heavy. It's a lot of plywood. And then, like, the one we're going to build, it's not just going to be a straight dowel. It's going to be one, because one of our friends is learning welding. So we're going to weld out a specific shape so we can drill holes right through it for the materials.
I see.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. And lots of wood glue. And
Wood
clamps.
glue.
I'm gonna have to get
Wood
some
glue
of
is
that
your
one.
best friend.
Same with hot glue.
Hot glue's not that bad though.
Really? I mean, like, you get to use it indoors, and then if you burn your finger, it's not that bad.
But it's
And-
still really weak because it's such low heat.
Yeah.
well, it depends what you're gluing. Huh?
I
Oh,
think
we
it just
talking
depends,
about
because,
what?
like, when I was gluing my, when I was working on my gun for Laguna, like, I remember specifically when it came to the glue, we used a mix of the super glue and the wood glue. And then,
Oh, yeah.
You can do that?
yeah.
Yeah. You have to be really careful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
'cause I
like the
figured
super
the
glue that
heat
we
is too
had
hot.
was it was just it was a throwaway kind of thing because it was almost done anyway. So we just kind of like mixed it just to make sure it wasn't going anywhere. And then the rest of it we ended up using it when we were screwing the pieces of wood together. So of course, so like so the wood. We screwed them together just in case, because glue can only hold out for so long, and so obviously we know it's not going to fall apart anytime soon. But then we were gluing the barrels to the gun itself when we screwed that on too. So we like used so much glue just to make sure that the dang thing wouldn't fall apart. Only to find out that barrel wasn't accepted at AAX.
Oh, what,
Yeah,
the
it's
metal?
happened.
Well, no, because what
Yeah.
happened was the barrel was aluminum, and I had asked before on the forums if it was okay, and I had a yes. I was given an okay. So when I got there and I was getting it piece bonded, they said that it wasn't accepted. So I was getting pissed off because, they weren't organized enough to know what the hell the rules were, or either that someone gave me misinformation.
It could be a mix of both.
So
Yeah. That's why for me, I always stick to wood, just in case.
Yeah, I try to just stay with wood.
Yeah, and then use the paint to make it look all metallic and stuff, so I can get away with it. Because, like, if you're doing photo shoots and all, the camera only sees what it looks like. It doesn't really capture, like, what's it made out of and stuff like that.
well, see what happened was that
Like
one
the
piece
one-
of the barrel. It was something that my dad just made out of just for fun, and then added to it. And so when I saw it, I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Okay,
It's like, okay, this looks alright, I guess.
this looks pretty cool. This looks
Yeah,
legit."
the one metal prop I have, I didn't make. It was a birthday present when I turned, I think it was when I turned 15 or 16. I think it was when I turned 16. My friend got Sasuke's Kusanagi,
Mm.
and I got to bring it to the con, and they piece bonded it, but they had to piece bond it shut. While like at ALA, they just tape it, like tape around it, and say you can take it off for photo shoots. Just come back, get it taped back over. Here at Anime LA, they destroyed the wood
Mm.
because they spawned it wrong, and so there's the wood has indentations and scrapes, and the paint's messed up.
Hey,
And I
I'm
haven't
curious
had
real
time
quick.
to sand down the whole entire thing and repaint.
Oh, it sucks.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey, I'm curious
And
real
I
quick.
don't mind.
And
I don't like the person who gave it anymore.
uh,
And
no.
I don't cosplay that version of Sasuke, so. But I will try. Yeah.
Hey, I'm
That
curious.
was
You
the
guys,
open test.
I know you guys have been going to Anime Expo a lot longer than I have. I was wondering, when in terms of like the peace bonding when it comes to the guns, did they always have that tape thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
This,
as long as I can remember,
yeah.
well, for me, they did.
Because I remember
Yeah,
when I
like-
got there, and my friend, she was walking around as a female version of Dante, and she had like all this tape on her guns, and we're like, oh my god, your poor guns are just ruined.
Yeah. One person I was standing next to had to just completely cover theirs in electrical tape, and I felt so bad for them. Because he had to use duct tape and electrical tape, and like, it didn't used to be that bad. It used to be like, you could put a strip of medical tape on it, and that would be alright.
Yeah, 'cause I
now
noticed
they're
that
just
this year
AWOL
they did
about
a
it
lot
because
of-
all like the bomb threats and stuff.
Yeah, because I saw like a lot of guns that were just smothered in tape.
Yeah, in LA.
LA.
Once it moves back to Anaheim, I think it'll get a bit better.
Unfortunately, they're not going to go back to Anaheim anytime soon. That's the only
Well,
downside.
if the LA Convention Center breaks their contract, which they might, they'll move back to Anaheim.
Wasn't the contract until like 2013?
Yeah, but if they the LA Convention Center has been having talks of destroying the not the West Hall. Is the West Hall the first one you walk into that doesn't have Artist Alley?
That's Dealer's Hall.
That's South Hall.
No, opposite side of Dealers Hall, like on the other side of the convention by where the X Games were.
I think that's the
West.
West Hall.
Yeah, that is West. If they're talking about demolishing the West Hall and putting a football stadium there.
Are you serious? They're still doing
Yeah.
that shit? Oh god.
And if they do, then they break the contract. They pay Anime Expo, and Anime Expo moves probably to Anaheim.
Why are they going to put a football stadium in that area? They're just going to fuck up traffic.
Because football is awesome, and Staples Center is right there.
Good thing I'm nowhere near
It'd be
them.
a prime spot to put a football stadium.
That's just going to
In
mess up
Ultra-
traffic.
minus
Traffic is going to be a bitch.
Well, it's already LA, which is already bad enough, and then...
Well, it's already bad enough as it is, but adding that stadium there is going to just congest it up even more.
Yeah.
They'll have to
Apparently they
expand
don't
the
care.
freeway and all this.
They should. I don't know why they didn't make the freeways any bigger than it was, because it was supposed to be like 8 lanes before, like when they were first making the highways. But the idiots like that's like, oh well, we won't need it. Our population's not going to
Yeah,
get that big.
and they
Haha. Eat your own words. Look where we're at now. We need to extend them.
They'll
Yeah,
learn this mistake later.
LA could be its own little state.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's so
weren't we supposed to talk about... How did we get to this topic? Traffic?
Yeah, because the football stadium's going to create traffic.
Ah, yeah. Well, yeah, there's no
Don't
way
you
around
deny
that.
it. You know those damn games bring traffic.
Yeah, that's why I try to avoid that area as much as possible. Or take the subway.
What's Subway?
There's a subway over there. It goes right underneath the streets of LA.
And the subway goes all around.
Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for actually coming out. I'm so thankful that we were able to get this done, like I said before, saying before we started recording this with the damn internet issues. But again, so RJ, I'm gonna message you later for your icon.
Okay.
But you can go ahead and go Cloud if you want. We're pretty much done. And thanks again for everyone listening. Bye!
Bye.
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 And we're done.
Oh,